Erik is back, which means two things. Number one, I never have to read another ad. And number two, Erik, did you get a tan?
Insert stupid I'm back meme here, whatever the hell people do. Psychos and sickos unite for a much louder edition of PHNX Suns, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by Circle K. Download the Inner Circle app for free today. Terms and conditions to apply at participating locations, and we are all participating. Today, I'm Erik, that's Gerald. We've got Steven and the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac, making all of the magic happen. But of course, the most important people, except for one of you in the chat, I'm talking about you, Max Simpson. But everybody else is extremely important. We got Kakashi, Leo, Steven, Boom, Shakalaka, Andy. I see that names are back.
Yes.
I like that.
For now.
Keep it, please.
I know. Apparently, it's been going back and forth. I did change my dad's name. I changed it, and then the name changed back. So
no more Street Addict 1.
No, in the rafters forever. But it is good to be back. It's good to be back on a Mailbag Monday. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're listening on audio. Of course. 5-star reviews go a very long way. How were things while I was gone? I was a little upset that you guys, the first day that I was gone, got a British person on the podcast, because that is my favorite accent.
Is it?
And y'all decided
did not know
to get a British person without me.
Well, now we know. We should have sourced Ireland instead. very sorry. But yeah, how was your vacation?
It was good. It definitely needed to unplug and take a little break. Got to go to the beach, if you couldn't tell. And then just a little time to kind of catch up with friends and family and saw some people, because as you all know, that in this industry, it's like you look down, it's like, oh crap, 8 months just went by and I haven't seen people in that long. So yeah, it was nice to see people. But I was wondering, since it is my triumphant return, and I know that if anybody missed me, it was Steven. Since we don't have a British person on the show today, Steven, can you give me your best British accent?
No.
Please?
I'm not capable.
No, you could try.
I'm not capable.
You could try.
I'm not capable.
There you go. I know that you got a good British accent.
I do, but I can't do it on command. I get nervous.
Okay, well.
Would you expect me to go full Nicki Minaj at the end of Roman's Revenge? Like, no. There you go. A whole dissertation in a British accent? No,
I didn't ask for you to do the whole podcast in a British accent.
I don't have that bad.
I feel like, can that be what you work on in the offseason? By post-game game one, I need like a segment where a British basketball breakdown with Steve and Prejean Gardner.
All this basketball stuff going on and for us to talk about. And this man wants me to give him a British accent.
We're going to get there. Okay. Well, you want to talk about basketball?
You find a British basketball player that
kind of want to talk more about Roman's Revenge.
Listen.
If you do the Nicki part, I'll do the M part.
Whoa. Hey. I like this. All right.
It wasn't a proposal.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like an offer.
It was more of a question.
Not at all. It was definitely a question.
Maybe a threat? Like, no, I'll do it.
No, not even that.
I'm going to get you to do a British accent. That's my off-season.
You are not. We can set that up on VB.
Steven has a question. Want to. But you know who else has questions? Our loving fans.
Yes. Before that, 15 more minutes on why Steven won't do a British accent. No. Let's get into it. Lots to cover on Mailbag Monday. As always, we send out on socials and in our diehard Discord on Sunday afternoon, night, whenever we remember to do it, to give us all your questions, and we spend every Monday answering. So if you feel left out and you want to ask a question, go ahead and get into that on socials. We'll try to get some in chat if we have time, but everybody who submitted it beforehand, well, they get first dibs, including Zay. Zay asks, what is the next off-season move you guys see the Suns doing? Or do you think they're done making moves?
I think they're done. I think they're going to continue to sniff around Kuminga. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the Warriors are letting him go. So I think we're pretty much set in stone as far as what the roster is going to look like. And I wouldn't be surprised if they leave that 15th roster spot open, kind of like they did heading into last year, leave it open for flexibility, potential trades, a buyout signing, or one of the two guys like Kobe Brea stepping up and earning that spot. So I think they might be done.
I think they're done. I think they have enough to sort out in-house as it is. And there's a ton of clarity that's needed in the front court in particular. I think we can all assume who the starting center is, but everything else is very ambiguous right now. So I think it'll be a lot that kind of gets doled out between that faction of the roster, providing clarity just because there's so many players with versatility past playing just one position there. So
yeah, I think the Kuminga stuff it's died down, and now there are reports that the Warriors are not going to trade him. That felt like the only thing that was left on the table. Obviously, you two did a wonderful job breaking that down and diving into that while I was gone. That was like the only thing that I checked Twitter for every once in a while to see if anything was happening with him. But if the Suns are going to aggregate some contracts like Royce O'Neal or Grayson Allen in a trade or whatever they might want to do, it feels like that's something that they'll tackle in season. Yeah. Because some teams might play and realize they need more shooting or they need a vet. And I think right now, the way that rosters have shook out, and there are some good free agents still out there. So if you're a team that's maybe going to try to acquire a good player, why not try to get a good free agent left on the market? And then if you need to trade, do it when those players are available later. So I think we're all on the same page. Most likely no more offseason moves, but if there's one thing this Suns team has loved to do over the last couple of years, it's things.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if they do anything, it'll be like another training camp deal for somebody that's lesser known. Maybe that, because you can carry like 20-some players and they don't have that many. So potentially, but.
One thing they did do this entire offseason was completely shift like the face, the makeup, the chemistry of this team. And that takes us to Frankie's question. Thank you, Frankie. Says, just like in 2020, 2021, am I crazy for having a similar vibe and energy about our group of misfits? I like our chances to sneak up on players. What do you think, Steven? Does this team, their chemistry, their vibe give you sneaky good team vibes?
They do. I think me and Gerald spoke on that last week. I feel like this is a fringe playoff team by way of the play-in. So if you look at that 2020-2021 season, that was one where, 2020 rather, bubble year, they get invited down there, just barely missed the playoffs if I remember correctly. I imagine they're in that same situation going into playoffs this upcoming season. And it just depends on how quickly they figure things out, how well some players' kind of skill development kind of comes into the team, and how well does Jordan Ott integrate to being a head coach more than anything else.
I think they could be similar. I do think there will be some differences. Obviously, the fact that like that 48-win Suns team, I'm sorry, were we talking about
2020,
2021?
Yeah.
No, I think,
2021 was a finals team.
I was thinking bubble
2020
year.
going into the bubble, which happy anniversary,
I was
Devin
speaking
Booker.
of bubble year, not 2020.
Yeah, I think if you're going to compare them to any team, Gerald, it's got to be that 2020 team that did not start off that season all that great.
I mean, it could be that they end the season on a high note and still finish with a record that is kind of what it is. That bubble was just a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing. I don't think that's replicable. But I do think that they are going to be a team that could be scrappier than people are giving them credit for. I still think they're probably somewhere in the 35 to 40 win range, which is kind of what that team was. The question is, do you have a Chris Paul-esque addition coming next offseason that's going to bump you back to contender status with all these young guys that you're trying to build up this season?
Well, I think what kind of resonates with me the most is when you go back and you revisit Matt Ishbia's like postseason press conference / like apology conference. It was, we're going to make sure that people leave the arena feeling like this team fought, like they had good energy. And when you hear Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks and Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro and all of the rookies talk and Jordan Ott talk, even Brian Gregory, you get that. And so with Frankie saying, do they going to have a similar vibe and energy? I think they'll have a similar vibe or energy. Will they be as good as that 2021 team? Absolutely not. But maybe they can do this type of thing where they're kind of earning it a little bit at the beginning of the season. They play hard. Maybe they win a couple games that they shouldn't. And then by the end of the season, it's like what Portland did last year, where it's like, oh, wow, you're kind of getting it together when some other teams are falling off the map a bit and you make a run for something. So I think it's going to be more fun this year. Whether that comes with wins, well,
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
The finals thing is not. That's not.
No.
I mean, last thing with that, number 11 and 12 seed in this past season was 39 and 40 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Is that out of the realm of possibility? Will remain. Well, we'll find out soon, but I don't think it is at all.
Yeah. And there are a lot of teams that sometimes pull out and win close games, and sometimes a team plays really hard, but they lose a bunch of close games, and they're lower in the seedings than you would expect, but they're more fun to watch, to cover, to do whatever with. So we'll have to see, and I know we all are excited to watch some Phoenix Suns basketball, including Black Hole Suns fan, who says, I've seen so many projected depth charts with Dillon Brooks and Royce O'Neal starting with Ryan Dunn backing them up. Am I the only one that feels like Ryan Dunn should be starting over both of them?
No, thank you for your question. And if you have been tuning in, you know that we've all put Ryan Dunn ahead of Royce O'Neal on our depth chart here at PHNX. I don't think you would put Ryan Dunn over Dillon Brooks. I think Brooks, especially because they want to be competitive, you got a first-year head coach that's trying to make sure they get off to a competitive start. I think Dillon Brooks is a lock to have a starting job, but that 4 spot, I think Royce is the more experienced option. So maybe there's a possibility Ott leans on experience to start his first season, but like he's 6'6" and Ryan Dunn's 6'8", and you need more size. And we've been talking about how Ryan Dunn needs to like get a little bit stronger and be more active on the glass this year for that to work with him as a 3-4 alongside Brooks. So I think he should be starting over Royce. I would not say the same about Dillon Brooks.
Yeah, I think they should be starting with each other. I think that's the best template they have at this present moment. Obviously, you get through training camp, you get through preseason games, you get to kind of test the waters with certain lineups. You can kind of get a better feel once you have actual games to gauge it off of. But just as a template for what you can expect for them in terms of style of play, those two should probably be the starting 3 and 4 for this team going into the season.
If Royce O'Neal was 6'8", 6'9", then it's not really, I guess not really a question right now, even though I guess even with Ryan Dunn, you look at it and say like, who's a better player right now? Maybe it's more of a conversation between Royce O'Neal and Ryan Dunn, but like, who is your future? Who are you building around? Who are you investing in? It's Ryan Dunn, even more so than Dillon Brooks, who if you're trying to win this year, sure, it should be Dillon Brooks. But like, I think that Ryan Dunn has earned that benefit of the doubt and needs to go out there and prove it. But that being said, if being at the 4 is more hurting than helping him because you're playing him out of position, then maybe they're going to shift some things around and they'll bring him off the bench. But I think even just stylistically, a player like Royce off the bench, who I think is a better ball mover, a better shooter, more experienced guy, fits a little bit more in that 6th, 7th, 8th man role, I think, than Ryan Dunn, who it's nice to have a POA demon out there, but you also want that in your starting lineup when you're playing against the best perimeter players.
Yeah, I think for short term and long term, it makes more sense to start Ryan Dunn. If you're trying, you need some size, you need some defense in that starting lineup, and Royce can provide one of those two, but he's not, at peak levels of defending like he once was. So I think he's better suited for a bench role at this point.
And he's at the latter portion of his career. He's not washed by any means, but I don't expect Royce O'Neal to get better this season. Hopefully he can maintain and not regress, but I think that's on the table too. But Steven, as we all know, starting lineups aren't always closing lineups, and that leads to one of my favorite questions by probably my favorite name in the Discord, Nashed Potatoes. Awesome set. Awesome name, awesome question asked. Aside from situational needs, do you generally expect the starting 5 to also be the closing 5 this season? And if not, who would you think most likely is starting but not finishing games?
Most likely starting but not finishing, I might say Ryan Dunn. It depends on what his shooting looks like. It depends on what he looks like generally on offense. Is he making quick decisions? Is he making the right decisions? Is he having impact past just 3-point shooting? Is his cutting impacting? Is he getting to the basket? Is he getting paint touches? Like, those little things matter. I can see Oso potentially closing games for this team because of the switchability, but also having somebody else that can put the ball on the deck viably in respect to what position he is playing. So I think there's opportunity for Oso as well as Nigel Hayes-Davis to potentially close games for this team at the 4.
Yeah, I'd say Book, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, those guys are probably locks to close out games. I think Ryan Dunn and Mark Williams, depending on the matchup, might be the ones that get shelved just because if you need a more switchable option, Oso could fill in at either spot, maybe a Rasheer Fleming, depending on how quickly he develops, maybe a Kaman Wall watch if he's actually in the lineup. But I think we're both we're all in agreement that might take some time for him to get consistent rotation minutes. So
I think if it's close, I love Oso and I love Ryan Dunn, but if you look at two players who can't do one very specific thing that you need in clutch situations, as in hit free throws. They both shot abysmal percentages from the free throw line. And even if Ryan Dunn is doing all the other things on offense that you said, if you can get into Hackadun and he's hitting 40-something% like he did last year, or Oso Ighodaro is shooting like he did at Summer League and last year, then that's a liability to have. So I feel like they might be doing, because he said aside from situational needs, offense, defense, I think that's really what they're going to lean into, right? Where it's like, we need to get a stop. I'm putting in Dylan Brooks, Ryan Dunn, Oso Ighodaro, and Mark Williams to protect the paint, and just putting maybe Devin Booker out there just to keep him out there in case you get a stop and go in transition. Or we need a bucket. Give me Green, Book, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, and then maybe Oso at the 5 to make passes, or Malawach if he could shoot, or maybe you go Rasheer Fleming, small ball 5, Nigel Hayes Davis, small ball 5, Ryan Dunn, small ball 5. I think it is going to be very much leaning into that that offense defense situational needs. I don't know if the Suns are going to have like a go-to closing lineup like a lot of these like best teams in the NBA will.
No, I'd be kind of surprised if they did. And I think that bodes well for the Suns if they did, because that means that they've got 5 guys, probably some younger ones that have stepped up and proven that they can take on that role. But I do think a lot of it's going to be kind of riding the hot hand situational basis.
All right, let's keep it going. King Ghidorah says, what players could take a leap going into the season, and which do you think are actually going to? So who could and who will?
I'm going to say both for Ryan Dunn, and I think Oso could. I don't know if the minutes are going to be there. I think they will be, but I don't know that for sure. I think Ryan Dunn is one of the favorites for a starting job, at least. And I think based on what we saw at Summer League, the confidence that he played with, I think he's ready to carry that forward under a new head coach who's hopefully going to give him a little bit more rope than the last one did. So I would say Ryan Dunn is probably my bet for can and will. And then Oso, I think he can if he finds a way to differentiate himself in a very crowded front court rotation.
Yeah, I think both of the sophomores do take leaps this season. It might be varying leaps from one another, but I think they both do take leaps. Jalen Green is my answer. Jalen is going to be, for the first time, in a situation where he's not the best ball handler on his team, nor does he get the most attention for when he does have the ball in his hands, because that is Devin Booker. Also, don't think he will have had as dynamic of spacing this season than he will, which will naturally create opportunity for him to not have to always have to be the engine for offense, but also have more space to operate in the context of play where he's been elite at, in terms of going to just get a paint touch and then figuring it out from there. I also think that there's going to be certain demands placed on him in terms of his offensive discernment by Jordan Ott and company to get more efficiency and effectiveness out of him in the context of play that he likes to play in. So I'm going with Jalen Green.
He could and he will? Okay. I like all of your answers. I like the sophomores. I like Jalen Green. I got a couple of names on very opposite sides of the spectrum, and I'm going to bring them to you. Plus, we're going to keep on answering all of your mailbag questions here on a Monday. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. 5-star reviews on audio. And stay tuned right after our first break. Listen, even when I'm at the beach, I like to be in the shade. And that's why I love All Pro Shade Concepts, because you want your outdoor living space to be livable all year. And when you live in Arizona, that is a tough task, especially around now when every single day is 1 or 110 and above. And that's why you can get a roll down patio shade, block out the sun, keep your patio up to 20 degrees cooler with great designs and colors to match any home. Plus, they can work with your HOA for approvals. They can get LED lighting to light up your patio. You can get manual, you can get motorized. You can really do whatever you want with All Pro Shade Concepts. Plus, they can help replace or fix most older, outdated patio shades. And of course, you can trust them. Voted #1 by Ranking Arizona for patio shades in 2024. An A+ Better Business Bureau rating and over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google. Call 623-204-1476 or visit allproshadeconcepts.com right now to schedule your free estimate. Also, like to stay cool on the inside, and that means APS. It's no secret, Steven, as you know, because your AC is broken, that the AC is extremely important in the summer. Extremely, no matter where you are, but especially here. And what if I told you that with APS and your smart thermostat, you can adjust your thermostat at any time to help work with your APS rate plan? So not only can you stay cool, Gerald, but you can also save money so that you can buy more diapers.
Right.
It all goes hand in hand with APS. And if you're not on a time of use plan, you could still use a smart thermostat and save money. For every 1 degree that you raise your thermostat, you can save up to 2 to 3% on your cooling costs, but you only want that to happen when you're not home. And then when you're heading home, you can boop, boop, lower it down, and bam, it's cold when you walk in through the door. APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. And if you already have a smart thermostat at home like myself, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards. Plus, free install available at marketplace.aps.com. Must be an APS customer, pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. I bet that felt really good, Gerald, that you didn't have to read anything.
No, that was great.
You did a good job. I listened to a couple of the ad reads.
Smile and wave.
Yeah, you had some good transitions in there while I was gone.
Did I?
Okay, so as everybody in here is just filing in and hitting the like button and subscribing and checking out Steven's film breakdowns and becoming a diehard today and reading Gerald's articles over at gophnx.com, we're still breaking down all of your questions. And King Ghidorah says, who could and who will take the biggest leap next year? I want to talk about what a leap from Devin Booker looks like.
Okay.
Because we all agree that if this team is going to overachieve,
is he eligible for a leap?
and that's what I kind of want to talk about, right? Because the leap from where some might rank him anywhere from 10 to 20-ish, which a lot of people have him as, to a certified top 10 player, I feel like is something that's on the table for Book, because he's going to be put in a situation where this team's success doesn't solely rely on him, but in a large part, he's going to be that main engine. Gerald, A, is it possible for Devin Booker to take a leap? And B, if it is, what does that look like?
I don't know if a leap is the way I would describe it, but definitely a bounce back. And I think he could have one of his best statistical seasons almost out of necessity at this point. I don't know if the efficiency is going to be there because of the emphasis that defenses are going to put on him. But as long as he's a little bit more efficient than last year, as long as he's at least insulated on defense or bounces back on that end of the floor, it'll be a better year for Devin Booker than what we saw last season. I think Steven and I have also talked about the importance of that pull-up three, being a little bit more efficient with that, because he took a ton of pull-up threes last year, and it was part of his regular shot diet, which is something we've been begging for, but he just was not making that shot. So he's got to be more efficient. I'm hopeful that they're able to get him some catch-and-shoot looks because he's a good shooter when he gets those. But I don't know that a leap is what I would see from him. I would say more of a bounce back to maybe the guy that we saw last during their 64-win season when he was the unquestioned number one on the team and there was nobody else that was close.
I mean, he has a top 10 MVP finishing season under his belt already.
Mm-hmm.
He's only about 2 years removed from that,
Mm-hmm.
3 years removed from that. Unless he's leaping up to a 4, I just can't phrase it. I can't phrase it as leap. I think he can be better 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I think resurgence or bounce back, if you will, but I wouldn't say leap in the sense just because he's already no worse than top 12, by my opinion.
I mean, a leap would be this guy is in the MVP conversation for the entire season. Not like he's a good player. Let's throw him in at 5 or 6, like that Blake Griffin year in LA. No, like this guy's top 3 in MVP because he's single-handedly willing the Suns. Like, and is that likely? Obviously not, right? And especially because team success also has a lot to do with MVP. But if he were to make a leap, that's what it would look like. Okay, so here's a more realistic name for me. Colin Gillespie.
Mm-hmm.
Right. We liked what we saw from Colin Gillespie in flashes last season. The Suns are banking a lot on him and basically saying you are the only point guard on this roster, but you're going to be our backup point guard. What does a leap from him look like this season, Gerald?
I think it's owning that role and becoming a part of your top 8 rotation and not just out of necessity because he's the only quote unquote point guard on the roster. And I think we saw last year when he jumped into the rotation, he gave them solid minutes. He looked like a solid NBA player. The question is now, okay, can you do that on a team that will hopefully have more of an identity, that will hopefully have other guys that are playing hard, and it's not just Colin Gillespie is standing out because he's one of like 3 guys that when he checks in, he's actually playing defense and hustling and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. Like this is going to be hopefully the first season where he is actually part of an NBA rotation from the start of the season, and there are expectations from him. So I hope that he's able to deliver. We know he can shoot. We know he can handle the ball. We know he can play make for others. Now I kind of want to see it for the first time in his career that he's in an established role heading into the season.
Yeah, the leap for me is, what does it look like when simply playing hard is not what's going to get you minutes?
Mm-hmm.
When you have production demands placed upon you, are you able to live up to those as a first guard off the bench type of role? Are you doing the little things that are going to help align up with you and Jalen Green work? Because Jalen Green isn't the most disciplined defender.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do the things with Book on the court? Because we know that Book isn't the best at guarding guards. Like, what are those things going to look like in comparison to someone like Jordan Goodwin? Because we know if Jordan Goodwin gets on the floor, you talk about offense and all of those things, he's going to defend with a certain type of activity that's going to have impact on the game. That's an accountability piece that's going to be put on the Colin Gillespie. Like, okay, playing hard is awesome. What's the impact look like in a consistent on a consistent basis?
Yeah.
So if he's bringing that production on that end of the floor defensively first, and then continuing to knock down the shots that he is going to be conceded from defenses, now you're starting to talk about someone like Gerald mentioned that is streamlining success, and it's not just I play hard, so I'm getting these minutes because of that. Bar was the floor last season.
This next question kind of plays into the one that we just talked about from Sunders Dunks in our Die Hard Discord. Become a Die Hard today. Go phnx.com/join. Says, which Sun is most likely to exceed expectations and who is most likely to fail to meet expectations? So one that's likely to succeed or exceed and one that's not likely to meet those expectations.
I feel like Book might exceed expectations because I feel like a lot of, not for us, but for people on the outside, I feel like people are very down on where Devin Booker stacks up against the NBA's best right now. So he would be my vote, and most likely to fail to me. I think by default, it's just Kaman Malawatch because people are going to look at him as the number 10 pick, and I'm not sure he's part of the rotation to start the year at least. We saw during Summer League, it was a little bit rougher. He's going to have to adjust to the physicality and speed of the game a little bit. He needs to work on his hands as well. But I think just by default him, and I don't think for me, he's not going to fail to meet my expectations because my expectations were that this is going to take some time. He's a bit of a project. But I think a lot of people are like waiting for him to be, you know, the starting center of the future for the Suns. And that's just not going to be the case in year one, I don't think.
I do agree with Malawatch for sure, but I would probably, the first person I would mention, probably Mark Williams.
Okay.
Because of the health asterisk next to everything. You build this roster out, you go trade for him, expecting for him to be available for you X amount of games that he hasn't shown to be capable of quite yet.
Yeah.
So that's a looming question mark that's going to be almost on a game-to-game basis, on walking on pins and needles, if you will. To exceed expectations, I'll start with Jordan Ott.
Okay.
I feel like Jordan Ott is going to be, he's going to build the level of buy-in from players in training camp and preseason to where he's going to be able to coach them hard in moments where might be friction or there might not be there would have been a disconnect last season. And I think that's going to change the culture in the ways in which they're hoping to. I'll also say Jalen Green is going to exceed expectations as well.
I mean, yeah, because the expectations for Green are so low. So are you able to be competent with Devin Booker, you know, create some rim pressure, eliminate some of the bad shots in your shot diet? Like, Jalen Green probably has the lowest expectations for a top-tier player on this team. And with Mark Williams most likely to not meet it, I think everybody's going into the season fully knowing that an injury could be going on with Mark Williams, or he could not play a ton of games or a ton of minutes. But, yeah, when he does play, what does he look like as well? Because he has his body weight has fluctuated. His game has fluctuated. He's never really been able to get into a rhythm. If you guys missed them with James, what was his last name? The Charlotte guy, the British guy that I missed. Plowright?
Yes.
Plowright.
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
blinking.
I was about to say something else with right at the end. But yes.
You missed the first ever edition of A British Person on PHNX Suns. Check that out from 2 weeks ago. Wow. It's been a long time.
I felt like it was a little longer than a week ago. It definitely was.
Yeah. Was there another British person on the show before?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so.
Somebody definitely has definitely done a British accent at some point, for sure.
Oh, yeah. We've definitely done British accents.
Not
well, but.
Okay. Next two we're going to loop together. First one from Lufa at I am Lufa. Awesome. Says, do you think Oso's jumper can be fixed? His high school form used to look good, so I have no idea what happened. Him developing a jumper would make him elite, in my opinion. And then 70 in one night from Lexville says, the starting power forward position is up for grabs. Am I the only one who could see Oso coming away with it by the end of the season? So let's start with Lufa's question. We do have some video here of Oso Ighodaro's shot in high school. It looks definitely different, and you could see in the slow motion there, but does it look super smooth, Jared? Like, what do you think of how his shot looks in this video?
I mean, it looks smoother here than it does now, for sure. This also is a case of like, dude playing against subpar competition is always going to look a lot better and a lot more confident than when you're trying to get those shots off against college players, NBA players. I don't know that Oso developing a 3-point shot is ever going to be in the cards for him. Truthfully, I don't think it's out of the question. He's still very young, but developing a serviceable 3-point shot, if you don't have that or the foundation for that right now, takes a long time. And it might be one of those situations where by the time that you work on that and work on it and work on that, you've already kind of missed the boat on having that as part of the skill set that teams want you to have that. So I don't think that's ever going to be a priority for him. I think you see anytime he's in the paint or in the 3-point line, it's the floater. It's the go-to shot of his. And I think that's probably what it's going to be.
I'm not worried about Oso's jump shot.
Right.
I'm genuinely not, because he has a skill set that can be featured in a way that's complementary to everybody else. And if you're not a big that's a hub for an offense, I don't think the shooting is as much of a need as people are kind of obsessing over at this moment. If Oso is confident with his handle and can do a lot of the things that I'll get to speaking about a little bit later with one of the mailbag questions that we have, I think he'll be perfectly fine.
Listen, I would love Oso Ighodaro to be able to shoot threes, right? Like, I know it's like, okay, maybe you don't need him to. Like, he's a second round pick, right? He's clearly discernible skills on offense and on defense, but if he could shoot threes, I agree with Lufa where it would make him, I don't know if like elite right off the bat, but it would add an element to his game that would be like, whoa, this guy could be the starting power forward of the future for this team, and he would slot into that power forward role a lot easier than maybe he does now. That being said, I'm more worried about, can you be consistent from the free throw line, and can you develop maybe some touch with your post hook, make that a little bit more consistent, maybe hit a floater or two, because you can't just rely on dunks if you want to hit this high ceiling in the NBA. That being said, he's a second round pick. If he's a rotation player for the next 5 to 10 years, that's a win. That's a win of a pick for the Suns. But 70 in one night, aka Lexville, says, am I the only one who can see Oso coming away with the starting job by the end of this season? I think it's obviously much more likely than at the beginning of the season, but what would you guys put the odds down are for it's game 82 and Oso Ighodaro, because he earned it, not just because guys are sitting or injured, is the starting power forward for the Suns?
I don't think it's impossible. I also don't think it's likely. I think that there's too many question marks at that 4 spot for me to rule it out entirely, but I do think the lack of shooting makes it tough unless he's playing with a 5 that can also shoot. And the only 5 that has shown that he's going to be willing to take threes is Kaman Malawach, who I also don't see in that starting lineup by the end of the season, unless Mark Williams is hurt and it's by necessity. So it's not impossible, but I don't think that's likely. I think if he makes a leap, it'll be coming off the bench this year.
Yeah, I don't know if he starts this season. I mentioned at the end of last week's episode with Espo, I don't think it's out the realm of possibility, because I feel like his impact on defense might be loud enough to where Jordan Ott almost feels forced because of the way that he unlocks lineups and scheme versatility and lineup versatility, because you can put anybody next to him and defensively he's going to be a positive. So that's something that you can kind of build around, but don't know if he starts. And even if he does start at times, I don't think it'll be something where he's the consistent starting 4.
There's certainly an opportunity for him to do it. If 40 games into the season, he shows that the lack of shooting isn't a problem, he improves on all the things that we've talked about, and Maybe Mark Williams does have a little bit of a midi, right? A little bit more of an outside game. Maybe Jalen Green and Devin Booker is working really well, and it gets Book off the ball more, and he gets those catch and shoot opportunities that you were mentioning earlier, Gerald. You can squint and you can see a world, but again, this is a second round pick, and this is somebody who we are all excited about. But at the end of the day, if he's not a starter, like, that's not the end of the world. Like, the Suns don't need Oso Ighodaro to be a starting level forward in this league to be good in the future. Would it help? Absolutely. But is it like a need, a necessity for this team? No, I would consider that a luxury.
Yeah, and especially this year. Like, he could be a
Sure.
starting caliber 4 or 5 in the league, but it's year 2. And that's the thing that I really want to emphasize for this upcoming season, is because a lot of people want to see the Suns back on an upward trajectory again to where Devin Booker can still contend before his prime is over. That doesn't mean that we have to evaluate these players on it's all about this year kind of basis. Like, some of these guys are going to take time. Malawach is 18 years old and has been playing ball for like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's going to take more than this upcoming season. And for Oso especially, like, come on, Malawach shot 4 for 16 from 3 last year. And Mark Williams took like 9 shots total outside of the paint. So I don't see either of them developing a jumper this year quick enough for Oso's shooting to not be an issue.
Aaron in the chat says, so what is the necessity? Malawach should be an all-star caliber player. I mean, for the future of this team, if we're talking about like getting back to the promised land, yeah, a lot more rides on Malawach to be an all-star caliber, all NBA caliber player than anywhere close to what's riding on Oso Ighodaro.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely different types of expectations for them, even if this season is a little bit murky for that. All right, let's keep it going from World of Malawach, who asks a question. Says, what are the plans for backup point guard other than Colin Gillespie?
It's a battle for the 14th roster spot between Jordan Goodwin and Jared Butler, and that's pretty much it. They're leaning into the dual combo guard thing. Booker is the best playmaker on the team, and there was not the type of starting caliber point guard available that they could realistically get that would put Book at the 2 full-time. So they're leaning into the combo guard thing, and that's the plan for point guard.
And
That's it.
Steven, we kind of lean towards Jordan Goodwin to most likely slide into that spot.
Definitely. And potentially threaten Colin Gillespie for the backup guard minutes as well. Not in a traditional sense the way that Colin Gillespie will, but because of the impact defensively and how he might fit next to both Devin Booker and Jalen Green, and be able to do things connectively, offensively, that helps to make their jobs a little bit easier as primary creators. So I think it's all Jordan Goodwin, not to put a lot of pressure on him, but he has proof of concept from the last 2 years since he left the Suns that you put him in a winning situation, he can make winning things happen.
And I know you two wonderfully broke this down when it was kind of the talk of Suns Twitter about point Jalen Green. But, I mean, there's a chance that Colin Gillespie plays the 3rd most minutes at point guard this year, and that Devin Booker and Jalen Green are your point guards when they're on the court. And then Colin Gillespie comes in and either plays alongside them as a maybe off-ball kind of 2 guy, or maybe he has the ball in his hands. We'll see what Jordan Ott does, but I wouldn't expect a lot from Jordan Goodwin, even if he is on the roster. I mean, maybe he has a chance to earn it, but those two could even work together. You could see Jordan Goodwin even as like a forward with the way that he actually plays and rebounds and defends and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with point guard. Also interesting to see what Jordan Ott brings over from Cleveland. Interesting to talk about what new Suns player will be a Bowl fan favorite. And of course, as every Mailbag Monday brings, Gerald, we've got some fun and crazy questions to get into. So let's get into all of those right after our final break. It's Circle K. It's always been Circle K. I stopped in Circle K when I was on vacation. I stopped at Circle K before I headed into work today. It was always Circle K, and guess what? I got a ton of money off at, you guessed it, Circle K. Because I am a member of the Inner Circle, and you must ask yourself, Eric, it must be so hard to become a member of the Inner Circle. It must cost me tons of money. There must be a wait list. No. All you have to do is download the Circle K app today, put in your phone number, put in your email, and boom, you are there. You are a member of the Inner Circle, getting 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And after that, you get 3 cents off per gallon, eventually bumped up to 5 cents off per gallon. And when you visit 4 times in 1 month, you get 25 cents off per gallon. And my lovely wife, Megan, got the benefit of that. She was the person who got the extra 25 cents off per gallon. And then me, well, I got my regular 5 cents off per gallon when I filled up earlier today. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for full details. And of course, if you are renovating your home or if you just need to spruce things up, maybe you own a property and you're looking to sell it, Empire Today is always the best place to go to get new flooring. It's your best bet because they live and they breathe flooring the same way that all of us, all of you psychos and sickos breathe and live and experience basketball on a daily basis. They do it with flooring, and that's why they're not like those big box stores. Plus, they can have a free in-home estimate, pick the right flooring for you and the right colors for your space. Look how it is with your furniture, your house. Plus, you have a virtual home visualizer as well. Plus, you get clear upfront, all-inclusive pricing, and you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. No waiting 6 to 8 months to execute your vision. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better off at home, and you can receive a $350 off discount when using promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply and visit EmpireToday.com/PHNX for full details. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us here on a Mailbag Monday. Brent, Boom Shakalaka, Level Outlook, Aaron, Brent. I think I said Brent twice. Brent again, Sean, Gerald, Steven, Ayrton, Erik, all of us here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep things going with a question directed specifically to Steven. From Suns Reality Check, says, with the debate around our centers and a backcourt of Green and Book, I've not heard a lot about how Ott might deploy personnel based off his time in Cleveland. What are 2 to 3 things he showed with a 2-big lineup and a backcourt of on-ball threats to look for on the Suns?
I think the obsession with what Cleveland did last season, I think some of it falls short of understanding why. Their franchise player is Evan Mobley.
Right.
That's who they drafted. They've been putting him in the best position to be his best self early in his career as often as possible by going and getting someone like Donovan Mitchell, pair him up as well with someone like Jarrett Allen. But the franchise player is Evan Mobley. The Suns don't have an Evan Mobley on their roster. If you're going to play double big, someone has to be supremely skilled to complement the other's lack of skill and put them in a position where they can coexist on offense and not be a disadvantage for your team. So I think that part gets lost in it, but also the Suns not having someone that can viably space the floor that's a plus size in the front court also doesn't suggest that double big is at least going to be an effective way in which it was with Cleveland. Now, might Jordan Ott still try it? Of course, because you have 8 front court players and like 6 of the 8 are playable. So naturally, there's going to be overlap there. But to answer the question directly, definitely also dribbling a lot more than he did last season. We saw that in Summer League where he would grab a defensive rebound, and last season he would look for a guard to outlet it to. Everybody's taking off and filling the wings in transition. And Jordan Ott mentioned this in his introductory presser. Transition spacing or your transition template is what sets the tone for your offense. If you got a big that can grab and go, that takes away 1.5 to 2 seconds for your offense to get into play, which means that there's more time to create advantage. If Oso could also go get a paint touch for himself and not need a screen or not need someone to pass it to him, now that just changes everything. Because now if you cross it with 22 seconds, now it's Jalen Green and Devin Booker playing off of closeouts because Oso went to go get a paint touch. So I think that's one way. Number 2, because of his handle and the improvement in confidence there, I think that Oso can get to a point where he starts to run some inverted pick and rolls with Jalen Green or Devin Booker or Grayson Allen screening for him. And the ways that that's going to pressure a defense, are you going to switch it? If you switch that, what is Oso doing after that? Are you going to double him? I would hope not, because that means that you're leaving one of those 3 guys that are plus scorers open to do so. Like coverage-wise, it puts pressure on them. And obviously, Oso could also just take a smaller dude to the basket when he wants to. Other big thing for me on the offensive end is spacing, but not in the three-point sense. It's with the dunker spot. Jarrett Allen was the best big dunker spot to dunker spot last season, playing off of the drives from Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell and Ty Jerome when he would go get a paint touch, and any other Cavaliers player that could go get a paint touch last year. Go back and watch the Cavs film. Jarrett Allen, and if it's not him, it's Evan Mobley. Them just playing around the restricted area of the floor. So impactful in the efficiency that they finished with when they did get those touches there too. It was just the perfect counter to all the attention that their ball handlers got. So I would say those 3 things. There's a ton others, but I would start with those 3.
Yeah, the personnel is different. So I think as
Yes.
much as we might see double big lineups, it's not because Jordan Ott expects the success or what worked in Cleveland to carry over carbon copy for what works in Phoenix. The hope is that Malawach could be that type of versatile big in the future, but it's not going to happen this season. So even though we might see Oso at the 4, that might be just a way of trying to capitalize on his unique skill set and bring something different to the table, because we have, they've got 5 centers or 3 centers, and then they've got a bunch of guys vying for minutes at the 4. So a double big lineup might just be a necessity based on your own personnel.
I'll say this. As much as we can praise, and we have heard praise about what Jordan Ott did with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Suns did not hire Jordan Ott to coach the Cleveland Cavaliers in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
They hired him to coach the Phoenix Suns. Right. And if you expect a copy and paste of that, then that's the wrong guy to hire. Right? Like, what made Cleveland special was what they built around their personnel. And I expect fully for Jordan Ott to give the same level of attention and detail and thoroughness, but with Phoenix's specific roster. So will we see flashes and elements, whether it is the double big or taking elements of what Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell did together, or finding ways to make up for them on the defensive end because they're 2 smaller guards, whatever it might be? Sure, I think you'll take parts of that. But this is such a fundamentally different team in a fundamentally different place, and he is going to have more power to exert his ideas and whatever he wants to do. So I don't want to look at the Suns and say, well, they're just doing everything the Cavs did, because that means Jordan Ott didn't adjust. So sure, be on the lookout for that stuff, but just because Jordan Ott doesn't take double bigs, it doesn't mean that he's not taking lessons he learned from his time with the Cavs and applying them and growing them here in Phoenix. So I just feel like that's kind of a crutch that we use when we talk about Jordan Ott, and I use like the royal we as like just Suns in general.
Sure.
But like it is not going to be Cleveland 2.0 in a lot of different ways.
I understand it though, because like it's very obvious if you watch any Cavaliers games, like, oh man, they look different because they were different.
They have an identity.
But the Suns context is not the same as that Cavaliers context.
And he has talked about how other teams do the same thing. And he was saying, I don't want to say that some teams just throw the ball up at the rim and go get it on the offensive glass, but it is something that we're seeing more prevalent in the league with those dual big lineups. So I think he understands that's an example of a trend around the league that's happening, more dual big lineups, but he also understands to harness it and use it the right way, you also have to have the correct personnel and skill sets to make that work.
Yeah, if it's like, hey, we're going to be really great on the boards, and then you don't have anybody who grab rebounds, it's a pretty bad way to lean into it. It's like if the 7 seconds or less Suns decided to lean into defense. It's like, hey, that's not what we should be doing here. From a fan favorite team to a fan favorite question, Nate Dunn in our Discord asked, which new Suns player will become a Bowl fan favorite? So let's clarify what that could mean, because obviously a fan favorite is one thing, but a Bowl fan favorite has got to be somebody who isn't playing a ton, who fans are kind of begging to play more and maybe feel like that he could offer more than what the runway the Suns are giving him.
It's Kobe Bryant for me.
I think you look at 2 rookies. I think Kobe Bryant, and I could see even Rasheer Fleming to be in there, because we all assume he's going to get rotation minutes, but you don't know at the end of the day if he is going to get heavy rotation minutes.
Yeah, I think Rasheer is a good pick. I honestly think because of their body type being similar, I think Kaman Malawach is going to get thrown into that mix as well, especially if he's not playing right away, and people that have not been listening to us talk all summer like, where are the Kaman Malawach minutes? I don't think that's a fair comparison there. But Nigel Hayes might be another option. I don't know. If he pops, then he might be an option. But usually those guys tend to be a little bit younger, a little bit more raw. So Kobe Bryant is not a bad choice either.
So we have a team full of Bulls.
That's why it's Kobe for me, because I've already seen people saying that adding Kobe makes Grayson Allen expendable, and
we're not there yet.
No,
we're not there. He's a great shooter. We're not there yet.
Yeah, he's not quite there yet. But I think just generally seeing those things makes me think that he's going to be the Bull of this season. Why is he not playing much?
Or why is he not on a full contract?
One 12-minute stretch, 1 12-minute game where he gets minutes and he knocks down 2 threes, where people are going to
be clamoring for more.
Yeah. Ted Offensive says Isaiah Livers. We'll see.
I can see it.
I mean, obviously we haven't seen him play basketball in a bit. He's recovering from an injury, but talking to him at Summer League, he seemed like he's in a really good place, and he should be better than he was before, considering the details of the injury that he talked about, which, by the way, you only saw that full entire interview if you are a diehard. So make sure that you become a diehard today, like Nashed Potatoes, who's back to ask another question, says not a Suns question, but more general NBA hypothetical, which these are always fun. If the league removed the three-point line entirely, do you think threes would disappear as teams and players moved back closer to the basket for easier looks? Or is the spacing provided by consistent three-point shooting enough of a benefit to keep players launching from range?
If they got rid of the three-point line, that's a specialty shot that guys are doing to show off. It is not part of the game. The game and the spacing and the way it's played changes drastically, because if you think about it, a three-point shot from that range, a good percentage is like 38, 39, 40%. If you take away the fact that three is worth 50% more than two, suddenly shooting 40% versus a much higher percentage around the basket or in the mid-range means it's a much worse shot. So I think threes disappear entirely from the shot profile of every team around the league, just from like a bare bones, common sense, mathematical standpoint, because these teams absolutely keep track of all these numbers. They've got access to way more data than we do. And so they know what's a good shot and what's a bad shot based on who's shooting it, from where they're shooting it. Threes would virtually disappear, and we'd have a bunch of bruisers back in the post and mid-range artists again. And that's basically what the game would come down to.
Yeah, good luck getting to the rim.
Yeah, it's just
because they're think about the way a team is going to help defensively. If you try to space five out and there's no one in the paint, all five defenders, including the person guarding the ball, is going to be in the paint. There's no threat of a three being more than two over the course of a game. So if you want to take those shots, you better hope you make them. And that even if you shoot like 50% as a team, it's still only going to equate to 2 points.
Yeah.
So like changing the geometry of the court, yet alone the actual volume and valuing of shots from distance, changes the entire game.
Brent says, good news for Erik. Rudy Gobert's stock would skyrocket.
Yep, there you go.
Also,
I'm back.
The glazing
baby.
would be at an all-time high.
So I took a
we
picture.
Just need to eliminate the three-point line.
I took a picture on vacation and I posted it, and on the back it says grind, but what you don't see is unedited. It said glaze and grind because it was a donut place, and I contemplated posting the full picture, but I didn't want to.
We got to get Gobert a sponsorship.
I didn't want to do that to myself. I think some people would still shoot threes, at least when it first disappears, because it's a skill that so many guys have, only because keeping people honest and not packing the paint, because if you think about it, when you pack the paint or when you pack that area, the shooting percentages that are higher now are going to go down.
Let them. It's worth two, and you're shooting
changes?
10% worse on those shots. Let them.
No one else game. Well, no one. Steph's the only person whose game wouldn't change.
That's fair.
Because his shot is the equivalent of a layup for most people.
Right.
Anybody else, you want to run around off of screens and whatnot and shoot, go ahead, go crazy.
But right
James
now,
Harden, you want to shoot step back threes from that distance? Go ahead, my guy.
But if everybody's focusing on the paint and you're an NBA player and you're going to get wide open looks, it's like, oh, I might just take a wide open look every once in a while to keep you honest.
Them at 10 to 12% worse than
just to keep them honest.
The same way middies get disvalued from most, it seems like most coaches nowadays, is the same way that a three would get disvalued at that point.
Look, you know LaMelo Ball still taking one leg BS for sure. Okay, Stephen V, also in our Discord, says, as you look around the NBA, which team's offseason moves have impressed you the most, and which team has left you scratching your head? What stands out about their decisions, and can you share a bit of context or reasoning behind your picks? I'm high on everything the Magic have done in getting Bane and staying the course. I'm dumbfounded by what the Pelicans are doing, but I'm curious to see how bad the Grizzlies are if that team doesn't stay healthy.
Okay, so the big winners, Rockets, obviously they got KD, they got Dorian Finney-Smith, they got Clint Capella. They did as much as anyone to move themselves into title contender status. Denver Nuggets, they regrouped very nicely to rebuild around Jokic on the fly. Cam Johnson, Jonas Valanciunas, Bruce Brown, Tim Hardaway, like that's stacked. I like what the Clippers did on the margins. I like what the Hawks did in terms of putting an actual team around Trae Young with Porzingis and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Thunder locked in their big three. Magic got Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones to help with the shooting. And the Warriors, once they figure out Kuminga, they're probably going to get Al Horford, DeAnthony Melton. So those are the kind of teams that stick out to me.
In addition to those teams, I like what the Knicks have done, bringing in Mike Brown specifically for the way that his offenses functioned when he was with Sacramento. Looking at the personnel that he inherits with the New York Knicks, and at least theoretically speaking, what he would potentially be able to do to orchestrate a more conducive offense past Jalen Brunson. Can you please save us again?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's see what it looks like if Cat is running some of the similar actions that Domantas Sabonis did when he was with the Kings. They're probably about to bring in Ben Simmons. There's literally copy and paste factor to everything that Ben Simmons is great with and everything that obviously Sabonis is all-time great with. How does that alter the usage for Jalen Brunson and ultimately make them more prepared for a playoff series and potentially kicking that door down and getting to the finals? I think there's a lot of opportunity there with them.
Yeah, I think you guys took all the teams that I'm like, oh, I really like. So let's talk about some of the teams that are like, what the hell? The Sacramento Kings. That's an evergreen statement.
It really is.
It's like, yeah, what the hell are they doing? It's the Sacramento
Dennis
Kings.
Schroeder.
Yeah,
and
a lot
Dario
of money.
Saric.
A lot of money, and they're trying to get rid of Malik Monk.
Yeah.
Why?
And our guy Devin Carter.
Why?
My guy.
Those are like two good pieces for that.
Those are the two pieces they should be hanging on to.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Kings are doing. I don't know. I mean, the Pacers letting Miles Turner leave was dumb, even with the context of Halliburton being out for a year. The Bulls, Evergreen, Pelicans. No, like Jordan Poole was dumb enough, but then you trade your 2026 pick outright in a loaded draft for next year when you're going to be bad for Derek Queen after you added Yves Massey in last year's draft and signed Kevon Looney. Like, what the hell are they doing?
Also drafted Jeremy Fears in addition to bringing in Jordan Poole.
No idea what.
Oh, and Derek Queen's injured, by the way.
Yeah, he's
he's injured.
Did he even play in Summer League at all? Or did he play one game?
No, he played one game.
He played one game?
Yeah, he played at the beginning. He didn't look good, and then he got injured. Great combo. On the other side of the Bulls thing, I do like the Cavs just like making a little tweak on the margins and adding Lonzo Ball. They lose Ty Jerome, but I think Lonzo's an interesting fit there. Of course, obviously, if he can stay healthy. But yeah,
he could be better for them than Ty Jerome was.
I agree. I agree with that for sure. And I mean, and what Isaac Okoro was bringing as well. I don't know what the hell the Chicago Bulls are doing. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Any other teams you want to shout out or poop on? I was going to say another word that I can't say.
San Antonio.
Yeah.
They didn't do much, but drafting Carter Bryant, I think, is very much a direct fit for everything that it is that they're working towards. Having someone like him off the bench to go with everything that you can already have seen results from their starting group with. If they're healthy, that's a team that's a problem and a half.
How do we feel about paying De'Aaron Fox that much money when you have Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper, though?
It's a good bit of business from them because if it doesn't work out after one season, guess what?
Yeah.
You have a lot of
he's going to get traded. He will not end that contract with
My point
San Antonio.
exactly. And who they have on that roster outside of Carter Bryant is Dylan Harper. You see what I'm talking about? Like, that's good business because now you're getting more in return because of the contract that you put him on.
Yeah, I think I liked it a little bit less before they fell into Dylan Harper, but it's not bad.
They have so many assets that they're sitting on, man.
They do. They do have a lot of picks.
Well, I think
thank you, DeJounte.
With the idea of like, yeah, you can trade him. I do think that we're going to get to this point eventually where it's like you're not going to want to pay these guys that aren't top 10, 12, 15 players in the league, super max and max contracts because of how much it's going to anchor your team. So maybe there's less of a trade market there for De'Aaron Fox. But I think the Spurs front office, unfortunately, is smart enough to know how to navigate stuff like that.
The NBA has to address that in their next CBA. It has to be a point of emphasis because teams are basically getting penalized for drafting well and having to pay up money to get guys, especially if they make like all-star teams or all-NBA. And those extra incentives make their contracts worth more, then you're looking at a situation where teams are encouraged to root against their own players succeeding so that they can get them on a cheaper contract. It's very stupid. You should be given a bonus if you draft a guy well and keep him and extend him. Because we all see nobody ever reaches free agency anymore. Yeah. These guys either demand a trade or they just re-up and stay with the same team forever.
I have a funny little story from my vacation I'll share here in a second. And we have 2 more questions here on a Mailbag Monday. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we're going to go into overtime here on PHNX Suns. Thank you all for being here. I listened to a podcast with CJ McCollum on it. over the break, and he was literally talking about, he's like, yeah, we got to find a way to fix the CBA because teams are punished for drafting well. And I'm like, yeah, you think? You think?
We're
dude?
all looking for the guy who did this.
I literally was like, oh my gosh, man. Oh. And he was like, well, like the decisions that we made was a collective decision and I represent everybody. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. But I thought it was funny. I knew when I was listening, I was like, people would like to know that I listened to a podcast with CJ McCollum on it.
There you go.
All right. We got Sean saying LMAO in the chat. And we also have Sean asking in our diehard Discord, says the boys get to draft 2 Suns players in their prime to team up with in a 3v3 tourney Squid Game stakes. Determine a draft order. Decide who you would pick for each of your teams to help you survive. To clarify, you will be playing against each other. There will only be one of you left for the PHNX Suns show. We did determine a draft order. It is a snake draft. I did it randomly, and Gerald, you got the number 1 pick. Ayrton, you got the 2nd pick. Oh, it's flipped? Wait. Oh, Ayrton got the 1st pick.
Okay.
Gerald got the 2nd pick. Sorry, Gerald.
That's okay.
Steven got the 3rd pick. I got the 4th pick. And then I'll start our 2nd round with the 5th pick. Then Steven 6th. Gerald 7th.
So this
Ayrton
is based only on their Suns 10.
Their
correct?
Suns prime.
Okay.
So they're the best that they were
With the Suns.
with the Phoenix Suns. And we are on the court. We are playing with them. So
Okay.
we can put that out there as well. And on the clock is Ayrton, who is already typing in his choice. We could see it. Who is it, Ayrton?
It's got to be Amari Stoudemire.
Oh, man. Okay.
I'll take it.
All right. We're going to Mari.
I mean, in a half-court setting, it's going to be tough to stop prime first-team All-NBA
All right.
Amari Stoudemire.
So my role is going to be standing in the corner. And if I'm standing in the corner, I need someone who can get buckets. And this is not going to be a fun pick. I know people are not going to like this pick. But Kevin Durant.
Yep. I was going to take him if he was there.
I'm taking Kevin Durant on my team in a 3-on-3 or whatever we're doing here.
Yeah.
Especially with that spacing in 3-on-3.
Yeah.
Come on. No one's stopping him.
Would you have taken KD if he was there, Steven?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be an unpopular pick. It could lose me if we do a vote.
I know. I would have taken. I would have taken KD first.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
And in a 3v3, because it's like you gotta have somebody that can defend, that can shoot, and it's like I'm on the court with an NBA player, so they weren't going to pass me the ball anyway, so it doesn't matter that Kevin Durant doesn't like me. I'm taking him.
He's the best. He's the best individual player to ever play for the Suns. He's not the greatest Sun, but he is the best individual player to ever play for the Suns.
I appreciate Ayrton though going true Suns fandom to the core and picking Amari though. I do appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Amari would have been the 2nd pick for me.
Okay, I would not have taken him 2nd.
Okay, Steven.
Mm-hmm.
KD and Amari off the board. Who are you playing with? He's gonna take Chris Paul.
Well played from you two. I'm going with Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need someone that's gonna be able to play off of closeouts and be able to put me in the corner at times.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do all the handling.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Booker, one of the best guards in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's gonna be someone that can score all 3 levels, and he doesn't have to worry about double teams, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Free reign.
It's fair enough.
Okay.
Can't go wrong with that. Obviously, I'm taking Gerald Green and Mirza Deletovich. No, give me Charles Barkley, and then in my 2nd pick, give me Steve Nash.
Okay.
So, defense and size with Nash is a little bit of a concern, depending on
And
who
with
you guys...
Barkley.
No, because the thing is, Barkley plays big.
He
right?
rebounds big.
He rebounds big. He'll play big in a half court setting.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna put a body into guys. I mean, there are maybe a couple other big men that you could talk about, but it's like Charles Barkley was literally an MVP. So we're talking prime, and then I got 2 MVPs with the Suns.
You did
on my team, and I got it with the 4th pick and the 5th pick. So Landry Shamet was a close cut.
Sure.
Jeff
Keeping with the no
Hornacek.
defense thing.
Ted Offensive says Shaq, but Suns prime Shaq.
Yeah, not Shaq.
No, thank you. Plus, I don't want to know what he's going to try to do to me in the locker room. Like, I'm good. I'm good on that.
That is also fair.
There are some other good choices though. So Steven, you're back up.
Yeah. I'm going to say Sean Marion.
Yeah,
but
it's a good pick.
I was contemplating Chris Paul and Michael Finley. Just throwing that out there.
Michael Finley.
Okay.
Just throwing those two names out
Chris,
there.
I think Chris Paul, you would have been a little too small. A little too small.
I was praying that
Hard
Marion.
overhyped, my guy.
I was praying that Marion would fall one more slot.
Not happening.
Yeah, that's a good
I'm
pick.
not sorry either.
That's a great second round pick.
I'm
Sean Marion would, for a 3-on-3 setting
Yeah,
like this,
for
Sean
sure.
Marion might have been my second pick.
Yep, I'm
Yeah,
putting
he was
him. I'm
definitely
putting
up-
him
he was
on
up
KD, putting him on Charles Barkley, putting him on Stat.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have fun with that.
All right. Well, man, I want to take Chris Paul, but he would just be yelling at me the whole time. And I don't think I would enjoy that. So
You're not a winner, Gerald.
yeah, and I feel like
But here's the thing: Chris Paul would be playing against Steven, and that would kill Steven's heart.
I
And
think he would
so-
love it just
No,
so
it's
he
fair.
could be up close and watch that
I
and
mean,
compete with that.
I mean,
That would be fun.
the scouting report is very thorough.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised by anything. So
Mhm.
You're
You
telling me you
factor
could
that
lock
in.
up Chris
I'm
Paul.
joking.
My problem. So I'll be full
I'm just saying,
disclosure.
I know what he would be wanting to do.
And you'd still be able to
Yeah,
do
I'm
it.
saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Give me Marquise Chris.
Full disclosure, I'm between Chris Paul and Mikal Bridges. And Mikal Bridges is because I would have a lot of defense,
You
a lot of
would.
length. Chris Paul, because I don't want to give Ayrton a Chris Paul and Amari Stoudemire pick and roll.
Ooh, that'd be nasty.
It would be nasty. But, ooh.
Also, still on the board, Abdul Nader.
Abdul Nader,
Landry Shamet.
Landry Shamet, Eric Bledsoe,
Ahmed Haddadi
Campaign.
still on the board.
Miles Plumlee.
Lou Amundsen still on the board.
Man.
Marcin
Okay. I'm gonna
Gortat.
Jalen LeCue not drafted yet.
go. I'm gonna go with Chris Paul.
It's a good pick.
We're gonna be a little undersized, but
You're gonna have the
I
first ever
can't-
double DNP game time decision in the 3v3 Squid
Come on.
Games.
Come on. That is true. If it's like
If
life or death on the line, Kevin Durant and Chris Paul are competitors that I have a hard time betting against, just in general.
That's fair. Just don't let KD warm up. He might roll his ankle.
Come on. Come on.
My last pick, I was between Chris Paul or Mikal Bridges.
Were you?
Yeah, so I'm
All right.
I'm taking Mikal Bridges. I
All
think
right.
that team's sweet.
Yeah. That's a lot of length there that you got. Good amount of size.
We got
This is a fun one.
got Channing Frye in the chat. I'd
Mhm.
have to go a lot deeper to get prime Channing Frye, but interesting.
We'd have to get like 5 rounds to go Channing Frye. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you.
Walter Davis for sure is somebody that
Mm-hmm.
you could think about in a half court setting. Ooh,
Mhm.
Bucket City, Bradley Beal,
Dan
of course.
Marley.
on.
Dan Marley, Tom Chambers. I mean, Tom Chambers in a half prime. Tom Chambers in a half court setting.
Shout out EJ.
EJ for sure. EJ would definitely pick himself.
If we were
For
going
sure.
fives, I would probably end up picking EJ.
Yeah. I
Or-
mean, we'll probably get there at some point.
Goran
We'll do
Dragic.
something like this.
Mhm.
That's my
I'm
boy.
surprised you didn't take him.
I mean, I got to take Steve Nash over Goran
I
Dragic.
thought
I
about
said
Steve
what I
Hunter,
said.
too.
That's my boy, Blue. Jimmer Fredette, great pick. Oh, Chris Humphreys for sure.
Mhm.
Isaiah
Jimmer.
Thomas.
I think underrated. If we did like 5v5 pickup, like final pick, if you're picking a center, like a nice Marcin Gortat or Tyson Chandler, just do the dirty work, clean the glass, something fun like that.
Man, we haven't had a lot of great
No.
centers in this
No.
franchise stuff.
Okay.
Nice.
We'll let chat decide who won that. It's me. Voting for myself
You're
right
not getting
now.
stops on nobody.
Voting for myself. Yeah, but okay, wait, is this make it take it? Because if it's make it take it and I start with the ball, we might not give the ball back.
I don't think we're doing make it take it. You're just inventing rules now.
Make it take you don't
To
when you play
justify.
when you play pickup 3-on-3, you don't play make it take it?
No, not
Do you
normally.
play make it take it?
I don't know the last time I played 3-on-3, so but it was make it take it, I believe.
You play 3v3, you play make it take it, get a stop, you get the ball back.
Mhm.
All right. Well,
I think it was
speaking of Shaq, our final question comes from Mario at Mario Not Bros 2. Says, how much money would they have to pay you, whoever they is, to take a charge from Prime Shaq one-time payment?
Well, it'd have to be in addition to covering my hospital expenses. So a couple grand for sure, like 10K.
You need to walk in. Like, what are you
20K.
walking away plus?
I'm walking away plus to take a charge. I could take a charge for like,
Dude,
I'd do it for like $1,000.
Listen. It would hurt. I'm not going to the hospital.
Cover my hospital.
You're not going to the
bills.
hospital, dude. You're not going to the hospital.
If he's going full speed,
You're gonna get the wind knocked out of you. You're gonna get hurt, but you're not gonna go to the hospital.
If I can't breathe, I want an ambulance on.
Okay, well, I'm not saying that you can't go to the hospital.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah, it's fair. That's
Send
fair.
me to the hospital.
Honestly,
cover my expenses.
Free covered expenses is probably an insane amount of money. So
maybe I'll get an elective surgery done while I'm there. Who knows?
Like, now that I mention it, I think that he broke my nose.
Right.
And
then a grand.
And can you send me to Turkey for my hairline? Okay. How much would it cost for you to take a charge from Prime Shack?
If you're asking me to do NBA level things, I need an NBA 1-day contract.
Oh,
so whether that's $25K, whatever the case may be,
that
and
shakes
have that medical covered as well.
Okay.
I don't mind doing NBA things if I'm being paid to do NBA things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 10-day contracts varies based on players' experience, but generally ranges from $61,000 to $190,000.
Significantly undercut myself.
You did?
I need at least $61K. Bro. I don't care.
Could you imagine making $190,000 in 10 days and you might not even play?
All you gotta do is take one charge from Shaq.
Bro, I'll take a charge from Shaq for $100. Like
$100.
I would definitely like.
I'd want like a grand.
I wouldn't do it for that if I knew that I had the power to negotiate whatever I want. But that's like 5 seconds of work to make $100. Come on, it's a good deal.
I think if you took a charge from Shaq and he was like, "Okay, here's $100," I'd be like, "What a cheapskate!"
Oh yeah.
He's actually because he's notoriously generous.
Yeah. Give me some ownership in one of those many different companies.
I'm trying to own your printer company.
I'm in
Shaq.
your next Icy Hot commercial.
Hey man, no free ads. I saw a Shaq ad at Best Buy the other day. No free ads.
Oh.
All right, just messing around.
All the endorsements that Shaq has.
Why not? He is a walking
free ad.
Oh no, he's definitely not a free ad because he is getting paid for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was fun. It was good to be back. That's a tech for me.
Put that up for me? I didn't even say nothing.
Oh man,
that's crazy.
Brent says it's not about the injuries; it's about his junk going 13 miles per hour right onto my face. $50,000.
That's also a fair point.
What if you had to have an official actually say if you were in position to take the charge?
So it's like you have to take a proper
you just
charge.
don't get the money.
You have to like size it up.
If it's a block, you don't get the money.
It goes over.
Erik is immediately doing the helicopter. I can already imagine.
Oh, sorry. When you're talking about somebody's meat going in somebody's face and you talk about a helicopter, my brain goes.
We got to get out of here. Take us out of here. Get us off the show.
Right.
I'm back, baby. And I will not be going anywhere. We'll be back tomorrow. That's
what he thinks.
Sorry. What's that? Espo's calling. Says I can't talk about a helicopter and Shaq in the same sentence.
Correct.
But that's what he did to people in the locker room, Espo. Okay. Anyway, thank you all for joining us here on a Mailbag Monday edition.
You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns.
You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Steven at StevenPG3. That's Steven with a PH because he bounces.
I try to. I do my best.
Now more than ever.
I do my best.
Didn't work today.
You can follow the Freckled Mamba behind the Mac at Freckled Mamba. You can follow me at ERIKRUBY. And remember, if you get offered to take a charge from Shaq, don't do it for $100. You could die. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.